Hi, my name's Mark, I'm one of the pastors here at Trillium. Recently I was watching a video on YouTube, Jordan Peterson and Susan Blackmore. They're both psychologists, they both teach at universities. One is a theist, Peterson, and the other is an atheist, Blackmore. And what's interesting to me was a conversation they had around meaning in life, and tragedy. And in the context of tragedy, Blackmore said this.
When horrible things happen to me, or I feel, or I read some terrible thing going on in the world, yes, those are tragedies going on in the world, my response is, nothing matters. It's all empty and meaningless. This is how the world is. Get used to it. Get on with it, girl.
A few moments later, she says this, I think we live in a pointless universe. And I'm kind of ruminating over that. You know, this understanding of how life really works. Because Peterson points out to Blackmore that she doesn't actually behave like what she's saying. Because she acts as if there's meaning in what she does. Getting up and going to the bathroom and eating and writing her books and teaching her students. She acts as if there is meaning in them. And I think that's a powerful reminder to us that really our actions speak louder than words and what we really believe. Nonetheless, I think Blackmore might be onto something. That what we see, the world that we see, the world that we recognize is meaningless in so many profound ways. And we've come across this in A Course in Miracles recently. We've started an introduction to A Course in Miracles at Trillium, and we're going through the first 60 or so lessons. And there's a bunch of lessons at the very beginning that talk about the meaningless of life, of the meaningless of the world that we see. And yet at lesson 14 it says this, God did not create a meaningless world. And what that tells me is that if I'm seeing a meaningless world, then I'm not seeing the world that God created. Maybe I foisted onto God's creation my own projections, maybe my own thoughts, my own expectations of life. Maybe I've painted over God's world and made it into a meaningless mess. I've essentially projected my nightmares onto God's beautiful creation. And so now what I'm seeing is not what God created, but what I have projected on it. And I don't recognize that there is another reality behind the one that I see. And this is where I think I would disagree with Blackmore's characterization. She sees what she sees, and she understands that what she sees is what is, and she doesn't doubt that what she sees is actually what's there. But it seems to me that if you're on the spiritual journey, you've come to a place in life where you begin to challenge or lose confidence in what you're seeing is what is. And that moment of loss of confidence is the beginning point of recognizing maybe something else. You know, our Christian faith is really an apocalyptic faith. The book of Revelation at the very end of the New Testament is translated apocalypsis, it's the Greek. And we translate it as revelation, but it really means to unhide. Kalypto means to hide, a very common Greek word. Apokalypto means to unhide or to reveal. The book of Revelation could be called the book of revealing. That which was hidden is now to be revealed. And what's amazing about that is the world, God's world, has been hidden away, but it's about to be revealed to us. And not only God's world, but who we are. You know, and the fact that it's hidden to us too. We don't even recognize ourselves in truth. And we don't recognize people around us and who they really are. And we don't see the divine image that lies hidden away in life. Our Christian faith is an apocalyptic faith. It wants to be revealed. It wants to be expressed. That inner nature wants to get out in a sense. And we do that by applying the truth about ourselves before we even recognize it. And we live from life with a sense of meaning, even though we don't always recognize it in the moment. And we understand that there's a super intelligence or a divine intelligence, a higher intelligence at work in lives, even when it seems unlikely to us. And by applying this truth to our lives and seeking the meaning in our relationships with each other and living out the truth of love in life, something will be given to us. We'll begin to see the world as it really is. God's world. And we'll recognize the truth of our neighbors around us and who they really are, holy children of God. And in the midst of that, we will begin to see ourselves for who we are.